After the hour now, Diane, back to you.
Okay, thanks, Tony. We want to tell you now about a dramatic new trend in this country and a truly stunning result. We're talking about paternity tests. Those are the DNA tests used to establish the identity of a child's father. Well, one study showed that of 350,000 performed each year, 1 in 3 came back, 1 in 3, and showed that the presumed father was not in fact the father at all, which may explain why more and more men are asking for them. Last week on Desperate Housewives, Gabrielle tried to fake one.
Hi, I need a paternity test.
Well, we'll just schedule you for an exam.
Oh, no, I don't need to take a test. I am just trying to reassure my husband of what I know is true in my heart. So if you could just slip me someone else's test results, I can make my own. I got Photoshop for Christmas.
Supermodel Elizabeth Hurley demanded one to prove that her ex-boyfriend was the father of her child. For Amber Fry, the test proved that the man who'd been supporting one of her children was not the dad. On the increase, paternity tests are more affordable. Today's test costs about $500. By 2003, more than 350,000 of them, more than double the amount in 1995. Raising the question, should they be automatic? Since they alter the lives of everyone, mothers, fathers, and especially children. And just how much is clear when you'll meet Dr. Enrique Terrazas, who found out through a paternity test that one of his children, a daughter, was not his biological child. We should say he's divorced and since remarried. And also with us this morning is ABC News legal consultant Lisa Bloom to talk about this whole future of this. Dr. Terrazas, I know that people had said to you, she doesn't resemble you, that your daughter didn't resemble you. Did you, though, have any doubt about paternity when you had this test?
Yes, I did. It was my current wife, my second wife, who broached the subject with me. And, you know,
whether the child resembled you or not.
Yes, she told me she didn't believe that, you know, my second daughter was my biological child.
You take the test, the results come back. Tell me what that was like for you as a father. In that moment?
It's devastating. You know, initially I was in shock. I just couldn't believe that something like that could happen to me. You know, there was all kinds of ramifications I was thinking about. You know, it just doesn't affect the children. You know, everyone involved is affected. You know, my family, you know, help me raise my daughters, and, you know, they're affected as well. It's just an emotionally devastating moment in my life.
And who says what to a daughter?
That was very difficult when, you know, I talked to her about it. You know, my sister was there with me because I just could not do it alone.
And how did she react?
You know, she's such an intelligent, brave person, and you know, the first thing that she said was, you know, why didn't anyone tell me? You know, why didn't I know?
Lisa, as we know, there are a number of people now who say, let's just have mandatory tests at the birth of a child. It's not that expensive. And make sure that the child doesn't grow up believing one thing and then learn another.
Well, now that DNA tests are relatively inexpensive, about $500 a pop, and painless, it's just a simple cheek swab, that would be practical. Insurance companies might balk at paying that hundreds of thousands of times a year for every American birth. But the real issue legally is privacy. We can't assume that every father wants to know. And how would those DNA tests be used, Diane? For example, could they be released to law enforcement? We just don't have those answers yet.
What about child support? What does the law say then about who's responsible for child support at what point? Because you can still be responsible for child support even if it's proven you're not the father, right?
That's right. And believe it or not, most states will still require a man who was a husband at the time of birth to continue paying child support. And the reason for that is the law wants to preserve family stability, wants to protect the best interests of the child, keep the father in the picture, and frankly keep those child support payments coming, because without them, you and I pay in the form of welfare to single mothers and to children. But there's been a backlash in the last couple of years. Men have banded together and said, look, this is wrong, this is paternity fraud. And about 24 states have now said, if you can show through a DNA DNA test that you're not the real father, you'll be relieved of those child support payments.
Well, if that 1 in 3 figure is correct,
Yeah.
I don't know what it says about a lot of women, for
Isn't
one
that
thing.
something?
But Dr. Terrazas, I know you thought it was important for the health of your child to know the real father, too. You are a physician.
Yes, I mean, you know, accurate health history is, you know, medically important to make a lot of decisions. So, you know, that's one of the factors that comes in.
And what are you going to do now? Are you going to stay in touch with her? Are you going to be... What relationship do you feel you should and can have with her now?
I would like to have a continuing relationship with her. My ex-wife is in the process of adopting her.
Having her adopted by her new...
Yes.
Husband?
Her new husband. But, you know, I would like to have a continuing relationship with her, but again, that...
And the new husband is the father or not the father? The biological father?
As far as I know, not.
What a situation. Well, again, I know, as you say, it's pain in all directions. And we thank you for coming in to talk about it. Thanks to Lisa Bloom, as always. And as we said,